If you're wondering which car has the best resale value, meaning which one you can buy now and probably sell for what you paid for it in a couple of years' time, well, I'm sure you've already guessed what it is. But if you haven't, here's what it is. Hello my friends and welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. My name is Sam Evans and I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. Today I just drove a Chinese electric car. Can't believe how good it was. It was so much better to drive than my BMW, which is going soon by the way. Got a BYD 803 coming. And the winner of this electric vehicle resale test here is actually, as I'm sure you've already guessed, the Tesla Model Y. If you've bought one already, wherever you are, you can probably sell it for more than you paid, more than likely. This is what's happening all over the world. In fact, in China, Tesla has said, right, you cannot resell your Tesla vehicle within 12 months. Period. You can't. And if you do, you get fined. This is like what Ford did, right? When they sold their GT40 supercar, what do they cost? About $600,000 US. They only sold 500 of them and they had a list of thousands of people who wanted to buy them. And they said to people, you cannot resell it within 2 years. So you had to agree to that when you bought the car. Same thing you've got to do now when you buy a Tesla in China. Profit, Ford took him to court and sued him, and he lost. And he had to pay for it. What a moron. Anyway, my point is that if you buy a Tesla vehicle, Model 3, Model Y, very good chance you can drive it around for a year and then sell it for what you paid, maybe even more, depending on which country you're in and depending on how far you've driven the thing. But realistically, what I'm seeing right now from Model 3 owners here in Australia is they're listing their cars for sale for more than they paid and they're getting what they're asking. In the United States, Tesla dominated the used vehicle market in June 2022 with its Model Y midsize SUV. In fact, the fastest selling used vehicle was the Model Y. And this was in a list ruled by electric vehicles and hybrids. According to IC Cars study, the average used car took 52 days to sell in June 2022. That's longer than what it was in May when it only took 50 days. I think we're starting to see a trend here, right? It's totally been a seller's market, right? Resale values are crazy. Apparently GM doesn't want to sell a car to you right now, specifically at Bolt, what I'm hearing, unless you want to trade in your car so they can make some money selling your car to someone else. So they make money in two transactions, selling your car and then selling a car to you. Very smart from GM. Not sure if it'll mean they'll retain many customers, but yeah, smart move in the short term is what matters most to you. Now, both new and used car prices rose in June over May as inventory constraints continued to plague the new and used car market. Rising interest rates and high gas prices have also heightened demand for more efficient and affordable vehicles. The study analyzed 224,000 new and used cars sold in the US last month. It found that used car prices increased by 11% compared to June of 2021. The average price for used cars also slightly increased compared to May 2022 from $34,120 to $34,150. So really, not really any difference at all. The quickest car to sell anywhere in the US in June was the Tesla Model Y at an average sale price of $70,000. That's US. That's crazy. 24.9 days, average sale price of $70,000. Now, incredibly, second place was a Toyota Prius Prime that took only 25 days to sell, but average transaction price was only $31,000, less than half the price people are paying for a used Tesla Model Y. Third place, Mustang Mach-E, an average transaction price of $61,000. Clearly, there's a lot of demand for Mach-E's. If Ford would just make more of them, then people would be buying them. Fourth place was the Toyota Prius. Then we got the Tesla Model 3 with an average transaction price of $52,000. Then the Tesla Model X with $90,000. So as you can see, right, Tesla took 4 places out of the top 6 in the US. 4 out of the top 6. That is insane demand for Tesla cars right now in the United States. Absolutely unbelievable demand. If you actually consider the average transaction prices, I mean, Model X, $90,000 for a used one. Model 3, $52,000 for a used one. Model Y, $69,780 for a used one. Crazy. This is what Teslarati said about Tesla Model Y sales. Despite being well above the price of the average used car, the Model Y was the best-selling vehicle in the market. Used Tesla Model Y vehicles sold for an average price of $70,000 or $69,800. For comparison, a new Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive long range cost $66,000, meaning they sold for what? Nearly 10% more than their new price. The performance variant starts at $70,000 right now, but only about 4% of the cars that sold were the performance variant. So the reality is, if you include the base model, right, the standard range model and the long range, the average price that people have been paying for these cars would have been about 10% less than they're selling the used version for. That's incredible. The study compiled a list of the 20 fastest selling used cars. Cars on the list sold after an average of 31.7 days, selling 1.4 to 2 times faster than other used vehicles. Used Tesla Model Y vehicles sold after around 24 days on average. Now, the people who made this list up, they said the estimated delivery dates for new Tesla Model Y units are elevating demand for used versions. The estimated delivery time for a new Model Y long range is between January and April of 2023. The performance variance estimates lie between August to October 2022. In other words, if you want a performance version, probably a good chance you can get one straight away. Well, close to it anyway. Besides the Model Y, Tesla's used Model 3 and Model X cars also made it onto the list, as I mentioned before. And this just shows the incredible demand, not just for the Model Y, but for a range of Tesla vehicles. So what's happening? The same thing in China. Unfortunately, people in the US are doing the same thing. They're buying Tesla cars and then they're selling them to make a profit straight away. In my view, Tesla needs to do the same thing they're doing in China in the United States. Force people to hold them for at least 12 months. That's the only real fair way to deal with this, because preventing people from getting a car who are not just in the market to try and flip it to make money is not a good thing. That's what I think they should do. Let me know if you agree in the comment section below. Now, this gives you an idea of the average year, right? The first production Model Y was shipping in January of 2020. So these vehicles could be up to 2.5 years old potentially, right? Seeing as we're now in July, 2.5 years, just over 2.5 years since the Model Y went on sale in the US. Now, the average American drives 14,000 miles a year. So used Model Ys could have around 35,000 miles on the odometer, some a lot more, some less, some more. Maybe the average would be more closer to 20,000 to 30,000 miles on the odometer of these used vehicles. Clearly, people don't have a problem buying used electric cars anymore. That's a thing in the past, in particular when it comes to Tesla. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.